Okay, getting straight into it. So what today we want to do is we want to create this shape here. So this is just introducing some of the sketch features. So if I go to sketch, some of these features in sketch uh, to just introduce them. So looking at today's shape, so it's just a basic shape with some different triangles, circles and squares cut out of this piece of timber or whatever it is. So starting off, we want to make sure that we have our part saved. So we can click save. Make sure, and you can save it to whatever folder you want to. So then we want to pick a plane. So picture this as kind of like we need a page or we need a wall to draw on before we can start actually drawing. So we have we have three different ones. We have a front plane, we have a top plane, and we have a right plane. And we can select any of these, whatever one best suits our object that we want to draw. So this one seems to be standing up, so we're going to go front plane. So I can a number of different times. So I want to start this sketch now. I can either click this little icon here and then I'll click start the sketch, or I can go up here and I click sketch again. So this time again, so just click on it and I can click sketch like so. And again, if you ever get moved around or if object moves on you or anything like that and I want to bring it back, I can go click on the sketch I'm doing right now and I can go through the normal 2 arrow icon, or I can go spacebar and click normal 2 either like so. So again, I'm going to go normal 2. So now go back to our object that we want to draw. So this is the object we want to draw. So as we can see here, we have a straight line here, and then we have a center line here, and then we have a midpoint line here. Okay, so going back to our line feature. So we're in sketches and we have line here. So if we hover over it and tell us it's line. So we have 3 different types of line if we click the down arrow. So we have a line, we have a center line, and we have a midpoint line. So starting off on our object today, we're going to do line. So we just click on it, and I'm going to start at the origin here. So this little dot here is the origin. So I click there and just drag straight up vertical. When I get that yellow line icon that's going vertically, it tells me that line is perfectly vertical 90 degrees. So I click and then I can go escape on my keyboard, and then it exits me out of the function. So say I want to get back into the function I was just in, or the command that I was just in, I can go enter and it brings me back into line. So say I was in the circle and I click escape, I go enter, bring me back into circle again. So I hit escape here again. So now I want to draw a center line down here. So I put down arrow, or I can click construction lines. This is a nice thing about these features, and you'll find this with SolidWorks. There's hundreds of different ways to do the exact same things. It's all about how creative you can get. So this time we're starting at the origin, this time we're coming down, like so. Finally, we want to draw a midpoint line. So if we're looking back here, we have a midpoint line here, and we know it's starting at the origin. So go midpoint, click here. This time we drag out, so like so. And this time I want to make sure it's horizontal, so I can see my little yellow icon appearing there just beside my pencil with a horizontal line, and that tells me it's perfectly horizontal. If it wasn't perfectly horizontal and I wanted it to be, I can just go back, click on the line, and I can go here, add relation. So I could add a horizontal, but as you can see, it's already there. So this now, I want to make that line construction line. So that, again, different types of lines. So this line will appear in a feature. So if I wanted to make an extrude feature or anything like that, and I wanted to apply this feature to a shape I had drawn here, uh, if it's an actual line or solid line, it'll complete the feature. But if it's a construction line, again, it's like drawing. If they're light lines, you won't, or the function won't see them as a complete object. So again, I want to convert this line, and I drew it as a solid line, but I want to change it to a construction line. I can then go to my properties and I can go construct like so. So this time now, what I'm going to do is I want to smart dimension these lines. So on this drawing, I'm told that this line here is exactly 400 mil long, and then I'm told that these 2 lines here are 40 mil long. So going back to my thing, so I'm going to select this line first. I'm going to drag this down. So again, smart dimension, click on the line, drag down, just scroll down with your mouse, and then click, and then we go 400, click enter or green tick, and that has dimensioned that line out. So now I want to change the height length of this line here. So if it didn't perfectly select just that construction line, I can go point to point and I can go again, drag out, left click, and type in 40, and I can go green tick or enter again. It's the same here. I'm going to go select this line. If it doesn't highlight, I can click the top points, drag out, and go 40 mil, like so. So then the next thing, if I look back at my shape here, I want to draw a square. So starting off with my square, I'm going to go to the rectangle fixtures here, and I can go, I'm going to use just a couple of these features to go corner rectangle this time. So I can start at the bottom or I can start at the top, bottom hand corner. I'm going to go drag. And nice little feature here is then if I hover along around the same height, it'll actually bring that square out at 40. So you can see the Y, so X and Y is the same as your maths or anything like that. And I can tell, it tells me that my Y is 40. So now I'm just going to drag out, and be careful with these they're just estimates with what's given you here, rough figures. So when that told me that was 40 by 40, but when I actually go to dimension this out here, so again, click this line, or I can click this bottom line here, it tells me it's 40, but it's actually not exactly 40, which can be important if you're making very precise objects or anything like that. So now I have my square drawn. So this next, I want to draw a triangle, but before I can do that, I need to space out my square from my line, so I know that's 20 mil. So again, going back to my smart dimension, I'm going to click this line, or this point and this point, go drag down, left click, and go 20 mil, like so. So again, the next function now, I want to draw my triangle. So if I go back here, I don't have a triangle function, but what I do have is a polygon function. And we know that a triangle, if you've ever done graphics or anything like that, you know that a triangle is a polygon. So I want a three-sided shape, which is a triangle. So now, again, in the trouble with triangles is very hard to get them started because you're starting at the center point. It's very hard to get it sitting on that line. So what I'm going to do is just draw it roughly, like so. Now I want to make this bottom edge horizontal first, so that it lines up with this line here. So I can go click that line, again, go properties, horizontal. And now I also want to get it down onto this line, so I could try dragging it down, but it's not as precise. So what I'm going to do is select this bottom line, hold Control on my keyboard, select this line, and I can go coherent, like so. So that has changed the size of it a wee bit. What I can do here is just select this bottom line and click the apex, and I can resize it down again, smart dimension it down, 40 mil again. So now I want to space it out, so I'm going to click this point and this point this time. It doesn't matter, you can click point or a line and go, sorry, 20 mil, that should be. So again, if I put in the wrong dimension, I can go over here and change dimension and then go green tick after that. Perfect. So the next thing I want to do is my circle. So again, circles start with the center points. It's kind of hard to draw a center point, get it the perimeter to line up. So this time we're going to go just draw the circle like so. Smart dimension it out. So we want a 40 mil circle. And now again, we want it to sit on this line. So what we can do is click escape out of all this circle feature. I'm going to click this line, or the perimeter of my circle, and this line here, and I can go tangent. Perfect. So the last thing I want to do for the circle is I want it to be exactly 20 mil from this outer edge to this edge. But you'll find when I click this edge of the circle and I click this point, it always goes from the center point. So what I want to do there is make sure that it's not dimensioning like this, because then it's going off at an angle and it's not actually 40 mil. So it's 39 that way, but it's actually 34 here. So I want to make sure it's coming straight down, and I'm going to go 40 this time because my radius is 20 to make 40 diameter. So 20 plus 20 is 40, like so. So then that completes that side of that shape. So now I want to go over this side and I want to draw a hexagon. So if I go over to the hexagon, what do I get? Go back to my polygons because I know hexagon is polygon, but this time it's a 6-sided shape. So I go 6 sides, and now I'm going to draw my polygon this side, or my hexagon this side. Again, I want to make sure it's horizontal first. Click horizontal, perfect. So the next thing I want to do is make sure that it's sitting down on this line here. So hold Control, select this point, select this, keep holding Control. Perfect. So now I want to resize that. Again, just getting used to the smart dimension features. And I'm going to go 40 mil again. And again, I want it to be gap of 40 mil from here to here, like so. So we're nearly finished. So we've only 2 more features we're going to look at. So the next feature we're going to look at is the spline. So spline is just drawing an artificial curve that's not a straight line. So looking at it again, so I can draw any kind of spline I want. So I can draw any kind of organic kind of curve or anything like that, or I can follow a curve if I had something inserted in my drawing that I wanted to follow, like so. But the problem with these shapes, and you can always adjust these and do all you want, but the best piece of advice I can give you now is make sure when you're drawing, if you're ever drawing splines, that you do it with the least amount of points as possible. So because the more points you have in, when you go to extrude or turn this 2D line to a 3D line, you'll see more dimples and bumps on that edge, which doesn't give it a good feature. So instead of doing this, keep clicking, clicking. What you can do is just click where it does a serious turn. So if I do there, 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 and there, even though when I finish up, it's not the same size or it's not the same angle or anything I wanted at all, I can go and I can click on the line and then it'll allow me to slightly adjust it if I want to do. So I can drag that arrow out, but I don't want to drag, I want to drag him in. I can drag this diamond and I can bring it down at the same angle here. I could drag this point down a wee bit. And now, just again, I want to adjust this again. So these points again. So this point, I can drag him down. I can change the angle. Like so. Again, I can shrink that corner in even more. Like so. And there I have the same curve. But you'll find when I go to extrude that curve, that's a much better surface, much cleaner curve. There's less dimples and it looks far better. So going back to what we were doing. So I can delete them. So I can just right click them and delete if you're ever unhappy with anything. Right click, delete, and right click, delete. So what last thing I want to do is I want to draw a spline here. So looking back at my shape, it's just any old curve at all, but as we see, it finishes on this line. So I'm going to start on this line. So starting here, I'm just going to draw a rough shape, getting used to the feature, like so, and finishing back on that line like so. But as you can see here, it's not a confined object like our sketch as these other ones are. These ones are confined, so if I went to extrude that shape there, I can click on it and the feature will accept it. But if I want to click on this shape here, it won't let me select it. Why? Because it's not a closed sketch. So if I go back normal 2 again, and I zoom in, what I want to do now is just draw a line, go back to my line feature, select this point in my spline, and select this point. There, as you can see, it colors it in. So that means when I go to extrude that, or if I ever wanted to extrude this sketch, I click on it, it allows me to select it, like so. So the final thing I want to do now is create my piece of timber or my outer surround, like so. So this time that is going to be created. It's a center rectangle, I'm told here. So going back to my features, sketch, and I'm going to go rectangle. I don't want a corner rectangle, I want center rectangle. Select there. This time I'm going to go every line on every straight line on any shape has a midpoint. So this time I'm going to go from the midpoint. So if I just hover roughly over the middle, I'll get it here, drag out. So I want it to be exactly. So again, so come to here, and then that'll stop it from going any wider. And again, just roughly anywhere at all here. Perfect. So this is just getting practice in the shapes and features. The final thing I want to do now is use the extrude feature. So you saw me using it a couple of times already, just demonstrate my point. So in sketches, in SolidWorks, we have sketches, we have surfaces, we have sheet metal, we have a number of different features. But the 2 big ones that we always use is sketch. So you start off with a sketch, that's 2D, and then we want to convert this to 3D now. So I click extrude boss base, and all that does is extrude it straight out. And I'm going to select the object, so I can select it, go red, select the shape I want to extrude. So I want to extrude this without extruding all the shapes I've just drawn. And I can, again, you can see here, it tells me that this is 10 mil, so I want this maybe change that dimension again to 20 mil, like so, green tick, and then If I go back normal 2 again, there I have my finished shape again. Looking back at our object, we have the exact same shape as we did before. So that's that task done. Thank you.